Picture this. In an era where a single tweet can ignite a global debate, social media isn't just connecting us. It's potentially fueling a surge in political violence that has experts and politicians alike sounding the alarm. But here's where it gets controversial. Is it the villain in this story, or merely an amplifier of deeper societal issues? Let's dive into the insights from leaders and specialists to unpack this complex web and see why this topic is sparking heated discussions everywhere. Just days after the tragic shooting that claimed the life of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, Utah Governor Spencer Cox didn't mince words. He publicly named the suspect and blasted social media as a destructive force. Social media is a cancer on our society right now, Cox declared in a press conference, urging folks to log off, turn off, touch grass, a casual way of saying get back to real-world interactions. His sentiments were quickly echoed by others like Oklahoma Senator James Langford, who pointed out how platforms reward the loudest and angriest voices, amplifying extreme content repeatedly. Colorado Representative Joe Neguse went further, calling it deeply corrosive. These strong opinions highlight a growing frustration, but they also raise questions. Are we blaming the messenger, or is there more to the story? Experts chatting with ABC News agree that social media plays a role in heightening public anger and spreading shocking images. Yet they caution against seeing it as the only culprit behind political violence. Instead, they describe it as exacerbating problems like societal divisions, heated rhetoric from influential people, and easy access to firearms. Think of it like this. Social media is like gasoline poured on an already smoldering fire. It's not starting the blaze, but it's making it burn hotter and faster. Political scientist Robert Pape, who leads the Chicago Project on Security and Threats at the University of Chicago, put it succinctly. Social media is certainly a contributing factor, but it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's not the fire itself. To understand this better, let's look at the specifics of the Kirk incident. On September 10th, Kirk was fatally shot while speaking at Utah Valley University, the kickoff of his college tour. The alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was arrested nearly 2 days later and now faces charges including aggravated murder. What caught attention was Robinson's activity on Discord, a popular online platform where people chat, play games, and form communities. Kind of like a virtual clubhouse for gamers and friends. Just hours before his arrest, he posted in a small group chat, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." This revelation prompted FBI Director Kash Patel to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, revealing that the agency is investigating over 20 people connected to Robinson on Discord, and they're tracking down every single one. Platforms like Discord, X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, have responded to inquiries. Discord stated they haven't found evidence that Robinson planned or promoted violence on their site, and they're cooperating fully with authorities. They emphasize their strict rules against hateful conduct, defining it as any speech that degrades, dehumanizes, or incites harm based on protected traits like race or religion. Similarly, Meta's spokesperson assured researchers from New York University that they prioritize safety by removing content violating community standards, investing in tech to combat hate speech and bullying. TikTok's head of safety policy noted they remove over 98% of material from hateful groups, staying ahead of trends with expert help. X's policies prohibit abuse targeting marginalized voices, focusing on combating hatred and prejudice. And this is the part most people miss. The rapid spread of graphic video footage from the shooting on social media has experts worried about the psychological toll. Imagine scrolling through your feed and stumbling upon violent content. Algorithms, those behind-the-scenes formulas that decide what you see, often prioritize sensational posts to keep you engaged, which can deepen political divides. For some, especially those feeling isolated, social media replaces face-to-face connections, creating a bubble of alienation. Notre Dame engineering professor Walter Shirer, who studies online misinformation, warned, "We are at a very dangerous moment with social media, especially having a large population of highly alienated individuals spending most, if not all, of their time in this virtual space." PAPE's surveys, done with NORC, show that heavy users, those glued to platforms for 6 to 8 hours daily, are more prone to endorsing political violence, though they represent just a small fraction, maybe 10%, of those with such views. A comprehensive review by NYU and Public Circle Research, analyzing 400 studies, concluded that social media is often used to enable intimidation and violence. But it's not the sole driver. They point to other influences, like partisan news and individuals already inclined toward aggression. But here's where it gets controversial again. Experts stress that social media amplifies existing tensions, not creates them. For example, American University professor Thomas Zaitzoff explained that while politicians' language toward opponents has grown harsher over time, social media isn't the root cause, it's the megaphone. He noted historical spikes in violence, like the assassinations in the late 1960s, long before the internet. Columbia University professor Robert Shapiro even questioned if eliminating social media would make a dent, saying there's more than enough political conflict out there to provoke violence. This incident isn't isolated. In recent months, we've seen a gunman unleash over 180 shots at the CDC headquarters, a Minnesota Democratic lawmaker and her husband murdered in their home, and another lawmaker and his wife wounded by the same attacker. 2 Israeli embassy staff were killed outside a Jewish museum event in D.C. And during the 2024 presidential race, former candidate Trump survived 2 assassination attempts. As Papp remarked, "This is something we're not used to seeing in our country. It hasn't been our normal, but it's our new normal now." So what's your take? Do you believe social media is the primary fuel for political violence? Or is it just magnifying problems we already have? Would stricter regulations on platforms help, or do we need to address root causes like divisive rhetoric and gun access first? And here's a thought-provoking twist. Could social media actually be a force for positive change in politics, uniting voices instead of dividing them? Share your opinions in the comments. Let's discuss.